Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. In today's What's for Dinner video, I'll be sharing with you what meals we had this past week. Our dinners were easy to make, budget-friendly, and delicious. So if you'd like to get some weeknight meal ideas for your family, just keep watching. For dinner this first night, I tried a new recipe for butter chicken. I mentioned this in my grocery haul, but I've never had Indian food before, and I've always wanted to try it, but I've been kind of intimidated, didn't know what to get or, where to start. And recently I saw Jess and the boys make butter chicken, and it looked really easy, so I decided to give it a try. Let me show you how I made it. In a small bowl, I'm going to mix the turmeric, cinnamon, garam masala, and cumin, and I'm going to stir that until it's well combined. And I'll of course have Jess's video in the description box below so you can check that out for exact measurements. Once those spices are well combined, I'm going to set this to the side. I'm going to add some oil to my skillet, and then I'm going to add my onion powder, garlic, ginger, salt and pepper. I'm going to give that a stir and toast the spices. I've got this over about medium heat, and I just cooked this for a couple minutes until I could really smell the spices. They were nice and perfumey. Then I'm going to stir in the tomato paste and then the chicken broth. Then I'm going to add in my butter and cook this for just a couple minutes until the butter is completely melted. Next, I'm going to add in the spice mixture that we just made a couple minutes ago and stir that until it's well combined. I cooked this for just a couple minutes. Then I'm going to add in my chicken. I have 2 chicken breasts that I cut into chunks. I'm going to add those and give that a mix. And then I'm going to bring this to a boil, reduce the heat, cover it with a lid, and simmer it for 30 minutes. After the 30 minutes, I'm going to stir in the heavy whipping cream, then the lemon juice, and allow that to cook just for a couple minutes for that milk to warm through, and then that's it. That's done. Now, this I know has a lot of ingredients, a lot of spices, but it was really easy to do. So if you've never tried Indian food, I recommend that you give this a try. This was actually really good. Now, I can say that I felt like personally it was a little cinnamon forward. I could really taste the cinnamon in this. My husband, who loves Indian food, was like, yeah, that's kind of common in Indian food. So, again, it could just be that I have never had Indian food before, but I feel like me personally, if I were to make this for my taste buds the next time that I made it, I would cut back on the cinnamon a little bit, but I would try the recipe as is because, like I said, I've never had Indian food before. But here's that finished butter chicken, and then to go along with it, I just made some basmati rice, and then I have some of this naan bread that I got at Walmart. I just toasted this up in the toaster, and here is the finished plate. I garnished it with a little bit of cilantro, and like I said, this was actually really good. My husband really enjoyed this. He asked if he could have the leftovers the next day for lunch. So like I said, I recommend you all give this a try, especially if you've never had Indian food before like me. This was really easy to do. For dinner this night, I tried a new recipe for a clam chowder. This recipe was given to me by a lady that I used to go to church with named Janice. And this will be part of an upcoming fall soup collab video that will be coming out next week. Definitely keep your eye out for that video because you will absolutely want to give this a try. This was delicious. I served this in some bread bowls that I got from Panera. And like I said, this was so good. I'm not usually a fan of clam chowder, but it was delicious. My husband raved about it. It was so yummy, and it was super, super easy. So like I said, keep an eye out for that video next week. You'll definitely want to check this out. This was dinner this night. So good. Tonight for dinner, I'm making an oven fried chicken. And a quick note here, I've mentioned this on the past couple What's for Dinner videos that I have been trying to work through my freezers and pantry to rotate through some of this stuff. And I had quite a bit of chicken breasts in my freezer and pantry. And without realizing it, I added a lot of chicken to the meal plan this week. So I apologize that this week's video is like all about chicken, but that's just what I had in my freezer that I wanted to work through. But let me show you how I made this oven fried chicken. I'm going to start by getting one of my sides started because it takes a little bit longer. I'm going to spray my slow cooker with some cooking spray, and I'm making a slow cooker creamed corn with bacon. I've made this several times and I love it. It's delicious. I'll of course have all of the recipes linked in the description box below. To my slow cooker, I'm adding some corn that has been drained, heavy whipping cream, some milk, and I've also made this with just using all milk, and I've even used just almond milk before. I'm going to add in my cream cheese, some salt and pepper, and then some pre-cooked bacon. You could, of course, use bacon that you fry up. I'm just using these bacon pieces to make it easy. I'm going to combine all of the ingredients, place a lid on this, and then cook this on low for about 4 hours. You can also place this into just a pot on the stove. I've done this before, and just cook it on low for about 30 minutes. Either way works just fine. Now for the chicken, I have the oven preheated to 375 degrees. The recipe calls for a sleeve of Ritz crackers, but as I was digging through my pantry, I just found these little odds and ends of crackers. I want to use them up. There were some Ritz crackers, some club crackers, and some other little butter crackers. So I'm just going to crush those and place those into a dish. Next, I'm going to add in the panko breadcrumbs, grated Parmesan cheese, some dry ranch dressing mix, and pepper, and stir that until it's well combined. I'm going to set that mixture to the side, and then here I have a cookie sheet that I've lined with some aluminum foil. I'm going to spray it with some cooking spray and then set that to the side. Here I have some chicken breast that I marinated in buttermilk overnight. You can marinate this in buttermilk for as little as maybe 30 minutes to an hour, but of course the longer you let it marinate, the better it will be. I've also seasoned the chicken with just a little bit of salt. I'm going to take the chicken breast and then dip them on both sides into that cracker mixture and place it onto my cookie sheet. Next, I'm going to place my butter into the microwave for a few seconds until it's melted, and then I'm going to drizzle that melted butter over the chicken and bake this for 30 to 45 minutes or until the chicken is at least 165 degrees internal temperature. And here's the finished cream corn. I'm going to serve this with some sliced green onions. And here are the finished plates. So we have the chicken, some of the cream corn, and then I made some side salads for us with homemade ranch dressing. This was a really easy dinner and it's delicious. For dinner this next night, I really did not feel like cooking, so I dug through my freezer and I found some of this red bag chicken. I get this from Aldi. I'm sure you've heard about this, but if not, this is kind of a dupe for Chick-fil-A. It doesn't taste exactly like Chick-fil-A, but they're pretty darn tasty. I just like to cook these in the air fryer, and then I have some Chick-fil-A sauce that I'm going to serve along with that. Here I have some brioche buns that were in my freezer. I just placed them on the counter for a couple hours to thaw, and then I have some curly fries that I got at Aldi. I'm going to bake those in the oven. I was digging in my refrigerator and I found several items that I wanted to use up. Here you can see I have just a couple slices of Swiss cheese. I had just a couple slices of this pre-cooked bacon, a little piece of tomato, and some iceberg lettuce. All of it needed to be used up, so I decided to do like a copycat Arby's chicken, bacon, and Swiss sandwich for my husband. Here are the finished plates. For my husband's sandwich, in addition to the Swiss cheese, pre-cooked bacon, lettuce, and tomato I just shared, I added some Chick-fil-A sauce to his sandwich. For mine, I like it pretty simple. I just added some Polynesian sauce, and then I had a couple tablespoons of this Fritos cheddar cheese dip in my fridge. I wanted to use it up, so I just added some of that to this small bowl and microwaved it for a few seconds to warm it up a little bit. Kind of like copycat Arby's, curly fries, and cup of cheddar. That was our dinner this night. It was yummy and really quick and easy. For dinner this next night, we had my family over and did like a family movie night. I made several snacks to go with it. So here's a picture of what my plate looked like. This is part of an upcoming collab that I'm going to be doing. I believe it comes out October 1st. Absolutely keep an eye out for this. I'm super excited to share this video with you all. I hope you really enjoy it. It was so much fun making. So that was our dinner this night. And like I said, keep an eye out for that video. It will be going live on October 1st. For dinner this next night, I tried a new recipe for a sweet chili chicken. This came from Fallon over at Moss Family TV. I'll of course have their channel linked in the description box below. On this particular night, my husband was at the gym and he didn't want to eat dinner before he left for the gym, and he had leftovers to eat when he came back. So I was just cooking for myself, and I wanted something that, you know, was easy to make for myself, that was quick, and that I wouldn't have a ton of leftovers, and this was perfect. So to get started, I've added a little bit of oil and just a little bit of butter to this skillet. It's over about medium high heat. I'm going to season my chicken breast with some salt and pepper and Badia Complete, and I just seared it on both sides and cooked it until it is at least 165 degrees internal temperature. When the chicken's cooked all the way through, I'm going to add my sweet chili sauce. I have some of this from Trader Joe's. It was a little less than half the bottle. I just wanted to use it up, so I'm going to add that. And then I just covered it with a lid. Well, I tried, but this lid wasn't the right size for the skillet, so I just kind of placed it over the skillet to hopefully block it from popping up. But here is the finished chicken. I just cooked it for a couple minutes just to warm through that sweet chili sauce. And then to go on the side, I had some of the leftover slow cooker creamed corn from the other night. I just heated that up on the skillet, and here is my finished plate. Super quick and easy dinner, and it was really yummy. For that chicken, for it only to be a couple of ingredients, it had a lot of flavor. So I recommend you all give this recipe a try. It was so easy and super budget friendly. For dinner this night, I made Doritos Casserole. Now, a few weeks ago, I tried a new recipe to me from Kat over at Southern Farming Kitchen. I'll have her channel linked down in the description box below. Her recipe is for a Doritos Casserole. It's a little bit different than this one. Hers uses ground beef, and we tried it, and it was really good. We enjoyed it, but I had about half a bag of Doritos left over that I wanted to use up, so I decided to make this. I've made this recipe a couple times before. It's just been a while, so let me show you how I made it. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. I'm going to spray my casserole dish with some cooking spray. Then I'm going to add my Doritos. So like I said, I have about half of this bag. I'm going to crush that up, add that to the casserole dish. And as I was getting these from my pantry, I found this little bag of 3D Doritos. There was not much in this at all, maybe not even a quarter of the bag, but I wanted to use it up, so I just crushed those. Added that to the casserole dish, and you want to form that into a single layer, and then I'm going to set that aside. In this bowl, I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. So I'm going to add my sour cream, a can of cream of chicken soup. Here I'm just using a can of cream of chicken and mushroom, just because when I went to grab it from the pantry, that's the first thing I grabbed. I'm going to add some salsa, drained corn, some shredded cheddar cheese, and then some cooked chicken. Really, you could use rotisserie chicken, leftover chicken for this. Here, I just have some shredded chicken that I had in my freezer. I just thawed it. I have a video on how I make this. I'll link it in the description box below. I'm going to stir that until it's well combined, and then I'm going to add my chicken mixture to my crushed chips. And you want to be a little bit careful with this. You don't want to mix everything together. So as you're spreading out your chicken layer, just make sure you're not trying to like mix the chips completely into it. I mean, if you move them around a little bit, that's totally fine, of course. So once that's done, I'm going to place this into the oven and bake this for 20 minutes. After that 20 minutes, I removed it from the oven, added the remaining cheese, and then I placed this back into the oven and cooked it for another 5 to 7 minutes just until that cheese was nice and melted. Here is the finished casserole. I let it sit for just a couple minutes before I served it. And then to go along with that, I made some steamed broccoli. I just took a bag of frozen broccoli, microwaved it in the oven, and then added a little bit of salt and pepper to it. And here is the finished plate. This was really easy and it was delicious. My husband kept insisting that this would be a delicious dip. He said that if you took this chicken mixture and then served it with some Dorito chips, like as chips and dip, that it would be delicious. And I have to say, I can see that. I think that would be pretty tasty. But that was our dinner this night. And that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope that you have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.